In the shadows of the 19th century, a grim and chilling trade thrived. They were called body snatchers, men who stole the dead to feed the insatiable hunger of medical science. Their macabre deeds shaped the foundation of modern medicine, but at what cost? The 1800s marked a turning point in medical history. Anatomists and surgeons needed cadavers to perfect their knowledge of the human body. But laws prohibited the use of most corpses, leaving medical schools with one grim option: the recently deceased. Enter the body snatchers, ordinary men turned grave robbers. They prowled cemeteries under the cover of darkness, digging up fresh graves and selling the bodies to medical schools. These stolen corpses fueled the rise of anatomical science, but their actions sparked outrage and fear across society. In England, they were known as resurrection men. In the United States, similar practices thrived in major cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Boston. The demand was enormous, and the profits were tempting. The most infamous case was that of Burke and Hare in Edinburgh, Scotland. These men took body snatching to a horrifying extreme. They didn't wait for death. They murdered at least 16 victims to sell their bodies for profit. Their crimes shocked the world, leading to public protests and demands for change. But they weren't alone. Across the Atlantic, similar stories unfolded, fueling suspicion and distrust toward the medical community. As graves were desecrated and families mourned their stolen loved ones, public outrage grew. Families began to fortify graves with cages, stone slabs, and even armed guards. The era of the body snatchers was a time of paranoia and fear. The public backlash eventually led to significant reforms. The Anatomy Act of 1832 in the UK allowed unclaimed bodies and donated corpses to be used for medical research, putting an end to the need for grave robbing. This act paved the way for ethical anatomical study, ensuring that medical science could advance without violating the sanctity of the dead. But the legacy of body snatching remains a dark stain on the history of medicine. Today, the advancements in anatomical science owe much to those early, grisly practices. While their methods were horrifying, the body snatchers played a critical, if controversial, role in the development of modern medicine. Their story reminds us of the fine line between progress and morality. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the darker side of history. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories.